Doughboys in communist Russia. These men, fragments of an Allied task force, fight an undeclared war while the world is technically at peace. A venture that started months before the armistice and stumbles on past the peace at Versailles. A campaign of hazy objectives and conflicting motives. Of battalions isolated from each other and from any recognized front, except the frozen maelstrom of Russia's civil war. The Allied intervention in Russia, that half-forgotten epilogue to the First World War, that prologue to the conflicts of Soviet Russia and the West. Russia in 1918, the enigma closing in on the mystery. The Tsar overthrown, the Bolsheviks in control, under a new name, the Communist Party, in a new capital, Moscow. It is a kind of puppet government, a German official installed in every ministry, German troops spreading through the country. Russia has abandoned the war. Its leader, Lenin, resisting Allied pleas to maintain the Eastern Front to ease the pressure in the West. The communists are playing along with the conquerors, playing for time. Lenin, organizing the new social order of the communist state, while his colleague, Leon Trotsky, organizes the force behind it. Trotsky's mission is to recast the Imperial Army into a weapon of the revolution. Rebuild, recruit, indoctrinate a Red Army that will ensure the Bolsheviks' grip on the nation, restore Russia as a world power, and then reclaim the German spoils. The Red Army mobilizes. While the Red Army grows, the vast terrain of Russia rumbles with opposition. Dissident groups who refuse to accept the German conquest or the communist regime. A Cossack army ranges up the Don River Valley under a former Tsarist general, Anton Denikin. A Tsarist admiral, Alexander Kolchak, is setting up an opposition regime in Siberia, a harsh military dictatorship with promises of future reform. Another restless force, a curious holdover from the war, is the Czechoslovak Legion, 60,000 strong. Mostly defectors from the German side, they fought for Russia on the Eastern Front and are now heading for the Western Front to resume the fight as Allied soldiers. Their daring adventure will have drastic effects. The Czech mission proves disruptive, a magnetic force attracting opposition groups, anti-German, anti-Bolshevik, all along its curious route. Not west but east along the 3,000-mile Trans-Siberian Railway toward the one sure exit, the port of Vladivostok. Some Czechs reach port, but then Bolsheviks and Germans block the route. 40,000 Czechs are stranded. And the Allies have a cause. Rescue the Czechs. a cause for intervention in Russia. American diplomatic quarters in Russia joined the mounting campaign for intervention. To Ambassador David Francis, the Bolshevik government is a foul monster, repressing its people and collaborating with the Germans. To the British and French, who start sending troops to Vladivostok in August 1918, the Bolsheviks are also a roadblock in the way of that goal firmly fixed by British Cabinet Minister Winston Churchill. Above all things, reconstitute the fighting front in the east. Vladivostok, now in the friendly hands of the Czech advance guard. Vladivostok will be a bridgehead. The nearby Asian ally, Japan, joins the intervention with a force of 70,000. Japan, eager to advance its interests in the Far East at the expense of its historic rival, Russia. Japan's entry is enough to galvanize the United States, whose President, Woodrow Wilson, has been sweating blood, as he says, about the moral issue of intervention. Sympathetic with the Czechs, uneasy about the Japanese, Wilson now sends a force of 7,000 Yanks to the rescue. He is thinking about sending a YMCA detachment too, as a moral influence on the Russian people. Rescue mission or bridgehead, or an empire, a second front, or an anti-communist campaign. This wild welter of motives turns Vladivostok into a bedlam headquarters. Americans, British, French, Japanese, joined by Italians and Chinese, by displaced Czechs and dissident Russians. British and French generals will send their forces as far as 3,000 miles west toward Moscow, while the American general William S. Gray